Hey, I'm Deanna. Welcome to my studio. In this video, I'm going to show you step by step how I made these giant pegboards. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll share some tips and things I'd do differently if I were to make this project again. You don't want to miss this. I'll point out the tools and materials as I go, but if you want a full list, you'll find that in the description box down below. And yes, during this video, you might catch a glimpse of another pair of hands. That's my husband. He's a little camera shy, so I did my best to crop him out, but I gotta give him credit. Sure, I could have done this project solo, but projects are more fun with a partner, especially when there are a lot of holes to drill. Since we were doing 4 panels, my husband suggested we create a jig to help keep things straight and evenly spaced and to speed up the process a bit. We made it using a 2x4 cut to 4 feet long to match the width of the 4-foot wide plywood sheets. We marked our holes 6 inches apart and 2 inches to the center line. We used a drill press to make 1-inch holes. If you don't have a drill press, use a 1-inch hole saw bit and a handheld drill. Just take your time and keep it straight and steady. The first step is to take a look at your plywood sheets and determine what you want to be the front and the back side, as well as the top and the bottom. So if you have any blemishes or discoloration that you want to hide, just taking a look before you start to measure and drill your holes. This is important too to keep things consistent across all 4 panels. We always measured from top to bottom, and it will also be important later on when we're creating the French cleat system for hanging our panels on the wall. This part is a little bit tedious, but totally worth it to do the prep work and to take your time. We used painter's tape on the face of the wood for 2 reasons. 1, it keeps your pencil marks off of the face of the wood, and 2, it helps to reduce splinters when drilling. We ran a line of painter's tape down the right and the left side of the board and then marked out our rows using a pencil. The top and the bottom rows are 3 inches from the edge of the top and the edge of the bottom, and the rest of the rows are marked out 6 inches center to center. Then using a small square, we extended those marks along the edge of the plywood. We applied 16 horizontal rows of painter's tape using our pencil marks as a guide. We're finally ready to start drilling. We aligned the center line of the jig with the marks on the edge of the plywood and then clamped it into place. Using a 1-inch hole saw bit, we drilled halfway through the front, just until that center bit tip poked through the back side. We did try drilling a few holes all the way through, and we ran into some splinter issues, so I'll talk a bit more about that at the end of the video. To keep things consistent, we marked a black line on the drill bit, so we knew exactly where to stop at the top of the jig. After drilling 8 holes halfway through, we unclamped the jig, moved it down to the next row, swept away the sawdust, and then repeated the process for all 16 rows. Once we drilled all of the holes on the front side halfway through, we flipped the plywood sheet over and finished drilling from the back side. Lining up the pilot holes was super easy, and this 2-step method gave us nice clean holes with minimal splintering. And the best part was pulling the tape at the end of all that drilling. It was so satisfying. I just made sure to pull at a low angle to avoid lifting any splinters. Now that all of the holes were drilled on all 4 panels, I used a folded piece of 220 grit sandpaper and just lightly sanded around the edges of each hole to smooth out any splinters. Next up is hanging the panels. We chose a French cleat system for 2 reasons. One, I like the flexibility of being able to take these panels off the wall in case I need to film something that requires a flat surface. And 2, we wanted to avoid drilling right through the face of the plywood just to keep a nice clean look. We started with 2x6 boards and cut them to 3 feet 10 inches long so that the edges were just shy of the 4-foot panel so you wouldn't see them from the sides. And then we cut them to 4.5 inches wide so they would fit between the 6-inch spaced rows of peg holes. With our table saw blade set to a 45-degree angle, we ripped the 4.5-inch boards lengthwise. That gave us a matching set of cleats, 1 piece for the wall and 1 piece for the back of the panel. Let me show you how this French cleat system works. 1 piece gets attached to the back of the panel and 1 piece gets attached to the wall, creating a hook system when they slide together. To keep this system hidden, we made sure to place the cleat between the rows of holes. Starting with the top, on the back of the panel, we marked a line 4 inches from the top. Then on the front, we added a strip of tape and marked a line 4.5 inches from the top. This 1/2 inch offset marks where to line up the cleat on the back and where to place the nails on the front. We also marked every 6 inches across the front to guide the nail placement. For the bottom cleat, the nails were placed at 7.5 inches from the bottom edge of the panel, and the top of the cleat sits at 8 inches. To attach the cleat, we started with the back panel. We labeled each pair of cleats so we could keep track of what goes where. For example, T3 means top of panel 3. After applying wood glue, we clamped the cleat in place, flipped the panel over, and secured it using 1.5-inch brad nails. We did the same for the bottom cleat and then repeated the process on the other 3 panels. We laid everything flat overnight so the glue could fully dry. It was now time to hang these panels. Working 1 panel at a time, starting with the top wall cleat, we measured our placement and then fastened it into place. Then to get the placement for the bottom cleat, we temporarily taped the 2 pieces together on the back of the panel, hung the panel on the top cleat, and then using a pencil marked the bottom line of where the cleat was on the wall. This gave us a good guide for where to install the bottom wall piece. Some other tips we found helpful were pre-marking the stud locations on the wall piece, pre-drilling the screws. This just made it faster and easier to install when holding up against the wall. Another tip is to use a temporary screw like a second set of hands. I placed one just below the pencil line on one end of the board, and that freed up my hands to help make small leveling adjustments before I fastened it into place. Now it's time for the fun part, building the shelves and styling the space. With the cleats on the back of the panel, it leaves a 2-inch gap from the wall, which makes it easy to slide the dowels through to support the shelves. We used 8 4-foot long 1-inch dowels and cut them into 11-inch pieces. We set up a guide on the saw to make cutting go quickly. 11-inch dowels worked well for our 8-inch shelves. 2 inches go through the hole, and then you have just over 8 inches on the front to support the shelves. For the shelves, we used 8-inch wide by 1-inch thick knotty pine boards that were 8 feet long, and then we cut them into various lengths. We used painter's tape again on the face of the wood to mark out our lines. This avoided again getting pencil marks on the wood and helped to prevent splinters when we were cutting. To assemble, just insert 2 dowels and place a shelf on top. We also kept the smaller offcut pieces of the dowels to use as handy hooks, and this is really easy to move things around and to customize as needed. Let's talk about some of the things I'd do differently if we were to do this project again. I would choose unfinished plywood. Our local hardware store selection was quite limited, so we went with these lacquered panels. And while I do love the way it looks, There were some challenges. The finish scratches very easily, so you have to be extra careful when moving the boards and handling them. And then the scratches are hard to touch up because there's already a lacquer finish on the surface. If I were to fill any holes or sand any blemishes, it would likely require sanding and resealing the entire panel, which kind of defeats the purpose of having something that is pre-lacquered. So that being said, I didn't fill the little nail holes on the front side, but I think they're barely noticeable. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Also, the surface does have a bit of a shine, which might be a bit problematic for filming or taking photos depending on the lighting or the camera flash. So far, things have been looking okay, but this could present a problem in the future. Drilling the 1-inch holes was pretty tricky. The veneers splintered quite badly on the back when we tried to go all the way through from the front side, so we moved to that double drill method. That did add quite a bit of time to the project. I'm wondering if using unfinished plywood would have been a little bit faster and easier, but it's possible that the unfinished plywood still would have splintered. We ended up needing a second 1-inch hole bit. I don't know if this had to do with the type of wood panel we selected or if it was just the amount of holes we were drilling, but about halfway through the project, it became very dull and we ended up purchasing a second bit to finish the project. Another lesson that we learned is that not all 1-inch dowels are created equally. The first brand we bought were marked as 1 inch, but they were actually a little smaller diameter. So when we put the dowels in and the shelves on, they leaned forward and did not support the shelves very well. Luckily, we found a second brand marked as 1 inch, and these were a snug fit. So just a tip to make sure that the dowel diameter is the same size as the hole saw you are using. And lastly, the French cleats. I'm not sure if it was worth all the extra work. They are holding up well, but I wonder if just fastening the panel to a 2x4 right into the wall would have been more secure. I did want to avoid drilling into the front face of the panel, so this is a great option for now. And I also do like the flexibility of being able to take the panels off the wall if I need to film something on a flat surface. The wall piece of the French cleat will be permanently fastened to the wall, so maybe to help those blend in, I'll just paint them white. I'm so glad to have this project complete and my space ready to go to start to create more content for all of you. I'm really happy with how they turned out. And I think this end wall here is my favorite space where it can hang and display all of my most used tools rather than digging through my bins to find brushes and things as I need them. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions or what you think of the finished space. I'd love to hear from you. If you're enjoying my content, don't forget to like, share, or leave a comment. It lets YouTube know that other people might enjoy this content too, and they're more likely to share it with other DIYers. I appreciate your support. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I'll see you back here with more projects and inspiration.